The case involving Michael Fossler and Erin Spencer is a tragic and intense story that unfolded in 2024 in Lonoke County, Arkansas. Erin Spencer, a father, reported his 14-year-old daughter Heather missing, only to discover she was with Michael Fossler, a 67-year-old man with a history of predatory behavior. Fossler had been previously arrested for stalking and sexual assault, but was released on bond. Upon finding Fossler with his daughter, Erin confronted him, and a violent altercation ensued. Erin shot and killed Fossler, claiming he acted in defense of his daughter. The case has sparked debate about parental protection, self-defense, and justice. Erin was charged with first-degree murder, later reduced to second-degree murder, with his defense arguing that he acted out of fear and emotional distress. The case continues to raise questions about the use of deadly force and the handling of individuals with troubling criminal histories. In October 2024, a 36-year-old father, Erin Spencer, found himself in a horrifying and gut-wrenching situation when he discovered that his 14-year-old daughter, Heather Spencer, was in the company of Michael Fossler, a 67-year-old man. Spencer, a father who had previously been concerned about Fossler's behavior toward his daughter, had no idea that this encounter would escalate to a deadly confrontation. What transpired that day would forever alter the lives of everyone involved. The incident began earlier that day when Erin Spencer reported his daughter as missing. Heather Spencer had been unaccounted for, and Erin, in a frantic and desperate search, reached out to law enforcement, hoping for their assistance in locating his daughter. At this point, Erin's worst fears were already coming to the surface, because he had previously warned authorities about Michael. Fossler had a history of inappropriate behavior toward minors, and he had been charged in the past with disturbing crimes, including stalking and sexual assault. In July 2024, Fossler had been arrested on charges of internet stalking of a child and sexual assault. Despite the severity of the allegations against him, Fossler had been released on bond, and this fact had been a constant source of anxiety for Erin. Fossler had reportedly made unsettling advances toward Heather, and Erin feared for his daughter's safety if Fossler was left unaccountable for his actions. Thus, when Erin Spencer discovered that his daughter was with Fossler, his emotions erupted. According to Erin, he had already been in contact with law enforcement several times due to his growing concerns about Fossler's behavior. As he located Fossler and Heather, a confrontation quickly ensued. Erin Spencer, upon discovering his daughter in Fossler's vehicle, immediately confronted the older man. Accounts of what happened next are unclear and contested, but what is known is that a physical altercation broke out between the two men. The confrontation, fueled by fear and anger, escalated quickly. In the heat of the moment, Erin Spencer took out a firearm and shot Michael Fossler, killing him. Erin was later arrested for the fatal shooting, and his actions have been the subject of much debate. While some have argued that Erin was acting in defense of his daughter and as a protective father, others question the necessity of using deadly force in such a situation. Law enforcement arrived at the scene, and Erin was taken into custody. He was initially charged with first-degree murder. The legal process began, and the case has since attracted national attention, not only due to the severity of the crime, but also because of the complex issues of parental rights, self-defense, and the consequences of releasing individuals accused of serious crimes. Before his death, Michael Fossler had a controversial and disturbing history. In addition to his previous arrest for internet stalking of a child and sexual assault, Fossler had been known for engaging in inappropriate and predatory behavior toward young girls. These allegations were a key factor in the heightened fear Erin Spencer had for his daughter's safety. Fossler had reportedly tried to establish a relationship with Heather Spencer online, and the situation escalated when he showed up in person. Erin Spencer had already expressed his concerns about Fossler's intentions and had been vocal about the need for authorities to take action. His actions in the months prior to the shooting included contacting law enforcement and attempting to get Fossler removed from the streets, but these efforts were unsuccessful. He had been unable to protect his daughter, and, as a result, when he encountered Fossler with Heather, Erin acted out of a deep sense of fear and anger. Fossler's release from jail, despite the serious charges against him, only added to the tension. Many people in the community were frustrated with the justice system's decision to release someone with such a disturbing criminal history. Aaron's sense of helplessness likely contributed to the explosive confrontation that ultimately led to Fossler's death. As the case moved to court, the legal debate centered around whether Aaron Spencer's actions could be justified as self-defense or if the shooting was an act of excessive force. Many believe that Aaron acted in a state of extreme emotional distress, possibly acting impulsively in a moment of fear for his daughter's life. Others argue that his actions were premeditated and that the level of violence used was not necessary, especially given that Aaron had the opportunity to leave the situation or de-escalate it. One key factor in the case is the concept of the heat of passion defense. Arkansas law allows for this type of defense when someone acts impulsively due to a strong emotional reaction, such as fear, anger, or distress, without premeditation. Aaron's legal defense team has expressed the belief that the shooting was the result of an emotional outburst, fueled by years of concern for his daughter's well-being and fear that Fossler would harm her again. The prosecution, on the other hand, argues that while Aaron may have been upset and fearful, he should have found a way to address the situation without resorting to deadly violence. They claim that the killing was an overreaction and that Aaron should be held accountable for the loss of life. The case has divided the community. On one hand, many people sympathize with Aaron Spencer and view him as a father who was pushed to the edge after seeing his daughter with a man who had a known history of predatory behavior. They see him as a protective father who acted in the heat of the moment to save his daughter from harm. On the other hand, there are those who feel that Aaron should be held accountable for his actions, regardless of the circumstances. Some have pointed out that there were other ways to handle the situation, such as calling law enforcement or seeking to remove his daughter from Fossler's vehicle without resorting to violence. These individuals argue that the law cannot justify taking a life, even if it is done in a state of fear or anger. The case has sparked broader conversations about the justice system, particularly with regard to the treatment of individuals accused of sexual offenses and the challenges that parents face when trying to protect their children. Many are questioning the effectiveness of the legal system in addressing such concerns, and some are calling for stronger measures to keep predators off the streets. As the case progresses, it will likely continue to be the subject of intense debate. Aaron Spencer's defense team is expected to argue that his actions were justified under Arkansas law, and they may seek a reduced sentence based on the emotional distress he was under at the time. The prosecution will continue to argue that the killing was unnecessary and should be punished as second-degree murder. The case of Aaron Spencer and Michael Fossler has been a heartbreaking and complex one, and it serves as a reminder of the extreme lengths that some parents will go to protect their children. However, it also raises difficult questions about the appropriate use of force and the consequences of acting out of fear and emotion. At the heart of this tragedy is the memory of a young girl who, despite the best efforts of her father to protect her, was placed in a dangerous situation. Her family is left to deal with the aftermath, grappling with the knowledge that the man who had been a threat to their daughter's safety is now gone. As the legal process unfolds, the case of Michael Fossler and Aaron Spencer will likely continue to have profound implications for discussions surrounding parental rights, self-defense laws, and the justice system's handling of sexual assault cases. The outcome of this case may set a precedent for similar situations in the future, and it will undoubtedly continue to spark important conversations about the intersection of law, morality, and protection.